If you're coming to Bali on holidays, as you come through the airport, you can actually get your phone swapped over. An Australian or an outside phone has to be configured so it'll take an Indonesian SIM card. And you can go to someone like Ketut's at KW Tours, my old mate Ketut, because he can do all of that switching over stuff inside. You just take your old SIM card out and you put a local one in. Today, my phone's finally just getting too small and too old for the amount of data and YouTubing and stuff I'm doing. I've gone down to have a look at the process in buying a new phone, but it's totally different to everything I'm used to in Australia. Yeah, you go to your local Vodafone shop or your Optus or whatever, and they put you on a plan and you pay your plan every month, and that usually includes a phone for the next 2 years. But over here, you got to buy your phone outright, and an iPhone or a Samsung is going to cost you around about $3,000 up front, but you can pay it off. And now here's the catch: when you're paying off a local phone like that, what they do is they take your $3,000 off your limit. So they don't actually take the money all at once, they only take their monthly payments, but it comes off your credit limit. So if you've got a $5,000 credit limit on your phone, all of a sudden now you've only got a $2,000 credit limit because $3,000 has been reserved to pay your phone off. And as you've paid it off over the next 12 or 18 months, you slowly get your credit back. Now that could be a big inconvenience to someone who travels around or someone who cycles the money through their phone, just to not have access to that money at all. But over here it stops people from just taking a phone and doing a runner. Totally different system to what we've got. And you've also got a heap of phones over here, Chinese phones that are nowhere near as highly spec'd as the Samsung and the big ones, the iPhones and stuff. They're reasonable quality, the cameras look pretty good, they seem to perform pretty well, but in my experience, even the fairly expensive ones don't even get close to a Samsung or to an iPhone. So if you're moving over here, expect to put that into the mix, unless you're bringing your phone through, and you've got to pay that tax in the first couple of days of arriving in Bali. Otherwise you lose that sort of little grace period that they give you, and then they're just going to cut your phone off after a month or two. So be careful, pay it on the way through if you're going to leave your phone here in Bali. If you're bringing over second-hand phones, I know, look, some people bring phones over and we distribute them back to the people in the village, those that can afford like a prepaid or something. If it's an older phone, like a Samsung S10 or something, like an older one, or an old iPhone 6, they're not going to charge you $1 because the phone's got no residual value. But they do value the phone based on sort of what it's worth over here. So be careful, there's a system that's a bit different to what you're used to. You're not going to be paying your phone off as you would expect, and there's huge number of phone shops to choose from. In fact, you go up and down this road and just about every shop for about 1 kilometre on both sides sells either phones or phone accessories. So we're going to go and have a look and see what we can find. So we've been to a couple of shops, and it seems to be, except for the type of music they're playing at the front of the store, the price is almost identical. God knows how you would get 20 stores in the same road all selling the same product at the same price, and there doesn't seem to be too many bonus deals or incentive plans or whatever that one's offering that the other's not. So I guess it's just a choice of which one you prefer. This guy, mostly only has iPhones and Samsung, but some of the others have got speakers and earphones and accessories and stuff as well. We'll go and have a look. Nice and cleanly laid out, and plenty of phones on display with quite a decent range, from the higher end ones to the flip ones and the watches and all. They've got a few other brands as well, and a few other bits of accessories, some TVs, some air conditioners and CCTV. A few basic accessories as well. A bit of smartphone stuff, some bits and pieces here. Here's some headphones. And over this side we've got the Xiaomi Redmi phones, the Chinese brand. They're a pretty good phone. Vivo. And then the big one's the Apple, including the MacBooks. Plenty of stuff, not too many people here, and the selection is pretty good as well. So, with everything being about the same price and all the discounts being pretty much across the board, it's just a case of who's got the phone that you want at the time, or who's got the best salespeople, I guess. And you're spoiled for choice here. I will say one thing though, and I didn't realise this at first. My old mate Al, when he came over here, he had a Samsung phone from Australia. He came over here like Samsung, so he came over and bought a cheaper Samsung when he got here, because it was easier than trying to get his old one converted and having two SIMs and fussing around. He got one of the very cheapest ones because he didn't really want to do too much functions and stuff on it, but it's slow, it's clunky, it hangs up all the time, and it's just a pain phone. From having a pretty good version, because he had a contract phone prior to that. I did the different. I went and bought one of the Xiaomi phones, and I bought a pretty good one. And honestly, the phone's fine, but I just keep getting massive locking up problems, and I don't know if it's a problem with the SIM card. I've been back to Telkomsel a heap of times and said, listen, why have I got no data when I'm on a plan and I should have data every single month and I'm not using my limiter? Look, I'm hoping it's just the phone, because I use my phone all the time for work. As you know, I'm a vlogger and I'm always traveling. I'm always using my phone for my maps as well. I'm talking to people non-stop on social media all day, every day. I need to have a really good quality phone. I need to have something that's efficient and something that's going to last a full day as well. And all of the cheap ones fall short in the amount of data you can store on them, the memory, the battery life or whatever. So you've got to bite the bullet sometimes and get a bigger, better one. But there's a huge jump in price from $500 or $600 or $300 or $400 for a moderate one to $3,000 bucks. That's a bloody big jump. So we're just going to have a look around and see what's going to suit our purpose, what's got the right adapters and bits and pieces, and see how we go.
Install.
Let me just say, with almost any purchase in Bali, it just seems to take forever. I don't know if I'm supposed to not get frustrated, but I find it really, really hard. They've now had to, I've had to trade my old phone in, and to work out what the trade-in value is, they had to load a program. But I wanted to do a factory reset, so all of my information was off before they start uploading information from my phone. So then he did an update, a system update. I'm going, hang on a sec, I'm on someone else's Wi-Fi, and you're uploading my information, so I can then turn around and download or do a factory reset. I tell you what, sometimes if you buy a television, a toaster oven, a microwave, pretty much any appliance in Bali, they take it out of its box in the shop, they plug it in, and they test run everything, because they don't have, in New Zealand they've got the Consumer Guarantees Act. In Australia you've got a pretty good consumer division, where if something's not fit for purpose or if it's not working, you bring it back, they swap it out and you get another one. Over here, once it's out the door, I tell you what, you're pretty hard pressed to get any sort of direct warranty. The best I'll do is I'll send it to an authorised service centre, and generally it's going to be a major nightmare. So they test everything here, but a lot of the products that are made for the Asian market, because it's such a financially compromised market, are at a second or third level down to what we would accept as standard issue. So what we get at the cheaper nasty stores is quite often as good as a lot of it gets. And even with brand names, I've bought power tools, Bosch and decent brands, and within 2 months the thing's just broken, fallen to bits. Take it back to the shop, we'll send it off to a service centre, and I still haven't seen it yet. If you're shopping in Bali, just make sure you've got plenty of time, especially looking for appliances. I've only been here for a couple of hours, so I reckon I'm doing pretty good. But I literally have been here for 2 hours. They had to charge my old phone up because it was a bit flat. So in order for them to do the update download and put a new app on my phone that determines how much my phone's worth in as a trade-in. Oh my God, it's sometimes this place does my head in. Most days actually. So if you're wondering why sometimes I'm just a muppet, it's because they've turned me into it. I'm not going to take all the blame for this. Only in Bali. And hey, Bali time, it's not just about traffic, it's about everything. It's about how fast things move around here, and the crazy process. I'll tell you what, if you have invented a point of sale system that's fast, efficient, and like shaves a couple of hours off the average person's walk through the across the counter, I could tell you about 10 stores right now that really need a better system than what they got, because they scan it, they sign it, they do it manually, they process it, they get a receipt, staple that to another receipt, and then they'll give you a docket. Oh my God. And if you think I'm joking, go to Depot. that's the not Bunnings in Denpasar. Great shop, it's got a lot of stuff. It doesn't have everything, it's got a fair bit of stuff, something, but just to get through the counter it can take an hour. Oh, I love it. But hey, I nearly got a phone. I think we're still waiting to see what they say about my old one. I can't make this stuff up, I tell you.
See, the download is loading, long pending. Bukan yang ini, Mas. Bukan yang ini.
Oh, sama sih, Bu.
Oh, sama.
After going through this whole process of getting ready to find out what my trade is worth, the system comes back with, sorry, but your phone was made for another country, because I originally had it over home, and it doesn't apply to the local phones. It's the same phone, but it's just made for the Australian and New Zealand market and not for the local market. So after all that, I got no credit on, no cash back on my phone, but we finally managed to find one. I tell you what, I shouldn't be so surprised. I really shouldn't, but every time I go to buy something, it seems to be just a pain in the bum. Sometimes it's a pair of thongs or jandals or flip-flops or slippers, whatever you want to call them, and it just doesn't ever seem to work the way you expect. So, hey, resilience and a bit of patience, a lot of patience, because God knows I'm running out of it. Where you going for a drink? Yeah, I might go to the pub. I'll come back soon.